And welcome, folks, to another edition of the Definitive Cinema Podcast. I am Chris Peterson, joined as always with my co-hosts. I'm going to introduce in just a sec, but first, I want to talk about what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about one of the greatest actors of our generation, an artiste, someone who moves mountains with words and chews up scenery with just a wink of his eye. We are talking about great Keanu Reeves. Yes, I said the great Keanu Reeves tonight in this podcast. And I will plant that flag in the ground. I will die on that hill. We are talking about the great Keanu Reeves tonight.
I showed up in the wrong podcast or something.
No, you showed up in the right one. So tonight is going to be a spicy episode, folks, because I'm going to die on this hill. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Gregor Hart. How are you, sir?
I am an FBI agent.
I am an FBI agent.
By the way, there's very few times I look forward to these quote sections at the beginning of an episode, but tonight's subject is one of those times. Ken Jones, how are you, sir?
I wish I could say something classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style. Pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever.
Pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever.
Two great movies, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Gentlemen, we're talking about the great Keanu Reeves. Now, for those of you watching, as I was describing the great Artur,
Lose! I don't lose! I win!
I saw some snickering here from these two gentlemen, but let me start off on a positive and wax poetic really quick. John Wick 4 is out this week, and it is igniting the box office, dominating worldwide, which is once again proof of how much people love Keanu Reeves and love seeing Keanu Reeves kill scores of people in magnificent ways. Keanu Reeves is by far one of my favorite Hollywood stars of my generation, of my youth, into my teenage years, into my adulthood. He's had benchmarks, tent poles. I mixed the words together.
Yeah, you think about tent poles, yeah. Okay.
But he seems to pop up in some of the most important, significant movies of each generation of my life, and it's very rare that someone does that. And I love the guy. He's a genuinely nice guy as well. I mean, you can't find a single person in Hollywood to say anything bad about Keanu Reeves, especially right now. And he does interesting movies. Does he hit it out of the park every single time? No, but he's fantastic. So I'm gonna ignore Greg for just a second. I'm gonna go with Ken Jones. Ken, tell me that you share the same opinion that I do.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call him a great actor, but I mean, generally speaking, I'm a fan.
Okay.
I don't think he's an actor that's beyond reproach when it comes to his roles and performances, but
Do you speak for the entire human race?
I don't think he's as limited as most people, maybe someone that's going to talk in a minute, seem to think that he is. He's had, like you said, he's had a long, productive career. He's made a wide variety of movies over the decades. I think we're all of the general opinion that The Matrix and John Wick are like his most obvious, like best known roles, but Bill and Ted have their hardcore fans, and Point Break and Speed are there for the action, like the hardcore action fans. Like certain cinephiles absolutely love My Own Private Idaho. So he's a multifaceted genre kind of actor. I wasn't always a big fan of him. I've a little dismissive in the past, but he's got like a certain like Zen quality to him, kind of like a quieter Matthew McConaughey.
There it is.
Like personality wise, not necessarily like as an actor, but like just kind of, like I said, personality.
And it's like with Keanu, it almost feels like just when you think it's over and his time has passed, he comes back with something, and you're like, oh, thank you.
But and also like he's getting old. Like it's hard to believe he's almost 60. But like he's really kind of like found his groove, like found his lane the last like kind of decade, especially with like the John Wick movies, like kind of knowing his role and staying in his lane kind of thing. So he's
He's
excelling at what he's good at. So
Guy's on fire. All right, we've waited long enough.
Greg's been making faces for 5 minutes, so we should probably let him talk.
It's time. Greg, what thoughts, quote unquote, do you have about
So
Keanu Reeves? Yes.
yeah, well, I guess I should say before I forget, Ken, that you were dismissive of him in the past. Well, I'm kind of dismissive of him in the present,
Mhm.
probably in the future. I'll say some nice things first. Now he is. I'm a fan of him personally. I don't mean personally in the movies, but just what kind of person he seems to
Yeah, he's a great human being.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everybody agrees. Yeah.
Yeah, not only in terms of being kind to fans, but also purportedly, again, we're going off of news accounts. I don't have any reason to believe these aren't true. Like taking pay cuts and taking money from what he's getting paid for movies and giving it to the production people and behind the movies and and doing all that. I'll also say I think he's notable for really doing the most in terms of just personal success with probably the least. Like, because again, like if you really go through his IMDb, it's pretty grim. I count like what 3 or 4 like good movies he's been in, kind of thing, and obviously those movies have been really gigantic hits, and I think he got a lot off the Matrix.
Some high highs and low lows. Yeah.
yeah. I kind of put him in the category. Again, you'll laugh at this, but he's in the category of actors like Van Damme and Seagal and some of these other guys who they can't really act. They're getting off of some little bit of cult of personality, here, but his cult of personality is a little weird because I think he has fans because of who he is personally and how he looks, especially from the female fan base, and also again just sort of some people who are kind of who are kind of hearkening to his like whoa, like those kind of line deliveries and that kind of personality he had in his early career. I'm just gonna be blunt. He's one of the worst actors I've ever seen in like major big movies. I have examples. I have receipts to make my point.
Well, since you're still alive and you're not in the box just yet, why don't you tell me this theory of yours and we'll go get these guys?
Greg has never been more excited to record a podcast.
Yes. These are fighting words. My blood is boiling right now.
Right, and trust me, I'm a fan of actors who aren't good actors. This is not me being put on my Roger Ebert hat and saying I can't, So part of this is just a little bit of disbelief for me that he has. Again, I get being a fan of him based on what he's done off the screen and all that stuff. But in terms of like Chris, what you said, he's one of our great actors, or just one of our fine thespians. Like,
yeah, that was a little hyperbolic.
Listen,
I'm not gonna lie.
So take it to hyperbole. People really enjoy his acting and his personas, and that's the part I just don't understand because. Like if you take actors again, I kind of lumped him in with actors like Van Damme, Arnold, whoever. At least they had like sort of unique, charismatic acting personalities. Stuff you could glom onto. Keanu's personality in the John Wick and even the Matrix is very monotone and very deadpan, and it's just not much to really hang your
He's
hat
a blank canvas for the audience to project themselves onto.
Okay. And so can 500 other aspiring actors who never get their shot, but Keanu got his shot. So, look, I think that actually type of acting works in certain movies. I think it worked in The Matrix for the most part, and it worked in a couple other things. I'm actually a bigger fan of his comedically. I actually think he's a little underrated comedically, and even in some of his earlier comedies, which didn't really work, but at least he was kind of interesting. He didn't have this rote monotone personality. So I think he's a fascinating Hollywood case study, like as far as like you can be a world famous, very rich, successful actor while not really doing all that much on screen.
The ultimate backhanded compliment.
It's like what
Jesus.
John Wick, what? How many lines did he have in John Wick 2, the movie I just saw?
Sir, acting is more than about spoken dialogue. It's the
presence.
Eyes, it's the body language, it's the presence.
The presence.
All those things. Listen, here's the thing about Keanu Reeves, and this is what Greg fails to understand about artistes, is that Keanu Reeves is in this very small category of actors who is perfect for virtually every role that they've played. That he brings.
Doctor, you must understand.
I doubted everything, even my mind. I was impotent with fear.
Exactly what's needed in that role. Not too much, not too little. He's right in that sweet spot with most of the things that he's done. Now, don't get me wrong. Has he flown too close to the sun on a couple different occasions? Absolutely. He had bad agents at the time that said, yes, you must do. Yes, you must do this period film and go up against John Malkovich. Yes, you must do this Shakespeare and act in the same scene with Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson. And you
must do this. You must do this rom-com with
Sandra Bullock, but
Sandra
no one
Bullock.
wants to see.
Or this romantic movie with
How about
Charlize
that?
Theron where she's dying of cancer.
Exactly.
How about being an actor? That's what he supposedly is.
We all need to get paid every now and then. We all need a paycheck. It's fine. But when Keanu is on, he is in that category. He is on that Mount Rushmore of people that are perfectly suited for that role. Now, also,
really, you know what it is, Chris? He shows up.
He shows up,
and we are blown away by his ability to show up.
To Greg's point of view about that whole monotone woe attitude, it doesn't help when you do Bill and Ted. You follow it up with Point Break, and then you follow up Point Break with Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I understand that. So, it's a peculiar career, but you know what? You can't say this. The man does what he wants to do, and with a very few occasions, he never really mails it in. He's trying, and I appreciate it.
He does go for it.
Oh, I think he's trying. Yeah, I give you that.
I appreciate the effort. I want to know about the definitive Keanu Reeves experience, and that's what we're here for. So let's get into this, gentlemen. So let's say the aliens from the day that the Earth stood still, Keanu Reeves himself, perhaps, came down and invaded our planet and said, "Look, I need to know." Alien Keanu. Whoa! I need to know what is his definitive Keanu Reeves experience. It might not be his best movie. Certainly, it might not be his worst movie. Probably not. Might not even be his most recognizable character. But what is the one movie that gives us the full essence of what Keanu Reeves' acting presence is all about? We're going to talk about that right now. So what we like to do on this podcast is decide and talk about our choices to make sure that none of us are cheating for sake of variety. We're going to announce our picks on the count of three. So, gentlemen, are we ready?
Yes. I'm ready.
Oh, I can't wait to do this.
Greg's gonna throw a grenade into this thing. I can already tell. The look on his face.
3, 2, 1. Speed.
John Wick. The Earth stood still.
Wait, what?
I knew it.
I 100% believe that, by the way.
So we all said 3 different movies. Ken, what did you say?
I said John Wick.
Greg?
Chris, you said The Matrix, I'm assuming?
I said Speed.
Speed.
So, and Greg said the Earth, the day that the Earth
stood still.
So
100%.
I'm going to start by going with Speed.
Okay.
Because again, like Ken and I have some pretty obvious choices, but Greg's is very peculiar. So Greg's going to go last here. So I picked Speed because is Jack Tavern is it the most iconic character that he's ever done? No, we all know that. That's Neo from the Matrix. Is it his most successful character? No. But I think when you take a look at Keanu Reeves' entire career and the far spectrum of movies that he's done, I think in Speed you captured the best Keanu because you're getting action film Keanu, which is typically very good. Number 2, you're getting delivery of terrible dialogue Keanu, which you definitely are getting in that. 3, you're getting a Keanu that takes himself seriously in the movie, but not like overly serious in the movie, which you could definitely say about basically all of his choices that he's done. Even movies like Dracula and Much Ado About Nothing and Dangerous Liaisons, where he's supposed to be taking it seriously, it's still kind of Keanu. And he's charismatic as hell with his co-stars. One thing you can say about Speed is that he is fantastic with every single person he acts with that movie. He is one of the best acting partners I've seen in a lot of films that are not supposed to be good acting partner movies. But you watch Speed, he's great with Jeff Daniels. He's great with Dennis Hopper. He's phenomenal with Sandra Bullock. And he was also smart enough not to do the sequel. So like
he was smart enough not to do the sequel.
Extra props for that. So career savviness you get in Speed. But again, what I love most about his performance in Speed is that he surprises you in Speed. And that's the one note about Keanu that I think stretches through his entire career, is that for the most part, he surprises you in movies, even though he's doing his typical Keanu Reeves thing in a lot of them. He still surprises you. Like, I mean, I walked into John Wick not really thinking anything and walked away saying, "Oh my God, is this about to become the greatest action franchise of the 2020s?" Arguably so. So that's why I went with Speed, because it is everything you want in that Keanu Reeves performance across all things. Ken, hit me.
We're
All
saving
right.
rebuttals, or we're saving rebuttals for after all of our picks. I'm guessing.
Sir, I was going to be classy. I'm not looking to rebut or argue. I'm going to I'm respectful enough to let your choices stand and let you defend them. But
I said
if you don't
after.
have that level of respect for the rest of us, by all means, go. Why don't you rebut now? I don't want
No.
your points.
No. I'll wait.
Okay, all right.
Just making sure.
Ken.
All
please.
right. So now that you two are done bickering, I was very tempted to go with the Matrix, obviously. And I'm not entirely sure I fully believe this, but this is a little bit of projecting into the future for me. I think the character of John Wick is going to become his defining role. And so I'm going with John Wick here over Neo, mainly because I just can't separate the Matrix from the sequels, which just leave a bad taste in my mouth. John Wick is an older, shall we say, wiser Keanu. He has kind of phased out some of the poor acting choices or decisions that highlight all of Greg's hangups on him. He's a character. John Wick is a character of few words and great physical violence. It has the fights, it has the car chases, the gun fu, as it were, fighting with bullets, and without the downside of sequels that diminish the character. And so because of that, I'm going with John Wick.
No notes. No notes.
Oh, I have notes.
Of course you do.
Shocker.
Shocker. All right,
All right,
Greg, before we
here's
get
the
into your
correct
pick.
answer. The correct answer is The Day the Earth Stood Still. Here's why. Chris, you set up definitive cinema beautifully. It's what is the essence of Keanu Reeves? Okay. The essence of Keanu Reeves is a character he played Klaatu, right? In Alien. An alien brought down on Earth who is very monotone, because obviously aliens haven't learned inflections of the human voice. They don't understand the human personality. They don't understand the human charisma. They're learning about, Earth and Earthlings and whether they should be saved or not. I mean, that's it.
The decision is made. The process has begun.
It's a perfect role for Keanu Reeves.
It's the role he was born to play, is what you're saying.
Look, I'm gonna be nice to him here.
Sounds it.
The Day the Earth Stood Still is a bad movie. He made it mediocre because he knows how to play a monotone, alien-like person trying to be human pretty well. Like he elevated that movie to a mediocre movie. And Klaatu, all right, you can make a case for Neo, and he's iconic as Neo. But if I want to show aliens, first of all, I want to show aliens in Alien movie, which obviously Day the Earth Stood Still, because obviously in that movie the aliens were going to wipe out humanity, and they decided not to, thanks to Keanu Reeves. And then so that's one, and then two, that is the perfect Keanu Reeves, is the ultimate Keanu Reeves experience. You see how he is in movies. He's monotone and he acts like he doesn't understand human feeling or emotion really well as he does in that movie. And look, he's not that different as Klaatu than he is as John Wick. He doesn't
come on.
He doesn't emote in John Wick either. And
People are asking me if I'm back.
Yeah, he emotes
I think
a little
I'm
bit
back.
more. And I don't even, what's his character's name in Speed? I didn't even remember it until you said it.
Jack Tavern.
Yeah. So all right,
what do you do, Jack? What do you do?
But fails miserably. This romantic chemistry of Sandra Bullock. Are you nuts? I mean, the last scene of them, in the subway hugging each other, like I felt I was watching a brother and sister, like trying.
Oh, come on!
Wow!
Stop it!
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Stop it! You have a better case with the Lake House than Speed with that.
But here's the thing. So take John Wick. I'll die on this hill. John Wick is better with Statham as John Wick instead of Keanu Reeves. It's better with at least 10 other actors. You put Tom Cruise with John Wick, it's better. It's a better movie. Absolutely, because you actually get an actor in there.
No.
But as Klaatu's perfect. You don't need an actor as Klaatu. Keanu Reeves is the perfect actor for Klaatu. Therefore, The Day the Earth Stood Still is the definitive Keanu Reeves movie.
Terrible take.
I
Put your cap back on. Don't don it.
All right, folks, welcome back to the podcast. If you've taken the break that I told you to take in the notes section, I'm kidding. Sir, that was a take. That was a take.
Was not a hot take. It's
It's not a hot take. He believes it 100%.
I will die.
He's delusional,
I will die on this
but-
hill. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, folks, there's much more to discuss about Mr. Keanu Reeves, Mr. Keanu Reeves, Sir Keanu Reeves, such as
When
what
did
is the
that
best?
happen?
What is the best Keanu Reeves experience? What is the worst Keanu Reeves experience? Yes, we'll get into the bad, and we have a special Greg's exercise coming up. But
And
Greg,
we have YouTube clips too. We will be discussing.
oh, and we're actually we got some YouTube clips. So Greg is bringing visual proof to this discussion. The game has been escalated. As we've just gone from John Wick 1 to John Wick 2 with the escalation here. So that is going to do it for our video section of this podcast right here on YouTube. So if you want to hear the rest of this, what I'm sure is going to be a very spicy meatball of an episode, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, On Stage Blog. We can listen to the rest of this podcast online. But in the meantime, give us a follow, give us a click on all of our things because it helps the algorithms and it helps us out. So definitely give us a follow on that end. But folks, we'll see you right over in the podcast.